Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, after I finish a week with fishing reports, between that time that the new report comes out, all I'm thinking about basically is what I can tell you that will help you to understand fishing a little bit more, especially if you're a new fisherman. And again, not to be too repetitive, but I think the most important thing is to realize that 90% of the fish in any given body of water are going to be in 10% of the water. That's an age-old adage that, I've always remembered since I was young. And, the important thing is for you to realize where in that water those fish would be. And that's where technology has really taken us over the years in fishing. What technology has brought us is a better way to know where the fish are, and that being their depth finders or fish finders that have been with us for a long time now. They give us the ability to see those fish where we wouldn't ever be able to know whether they were down there or not. And this is something I think it's important for you to realize, that the one thing you can do is learn where the fish are. And whether you have a fish finder or not, you be the fish finder. Number one, what's going to determine that is they need food and fish need shelter. They need a place in the water that there's food that they can eat, and they need a place that will provide cover for them. And this same cover will probably provide cover for all the prey that they're trying to get to eat. So it's important, I think, that you know this. And this is so critical. We talk about learning to cast and how critical that is for you to place your lure where you know where the fish are. And this is basically what this is about. Now that it's the beginning of fishing season, I'm really immersed in this. I've been traveling all over looking at our different waters, the different streams that are in our area, because trout season has begun. And, I've said before that it's very difficult in the early part of the season to really find a place to fish for trout, because the water conditions aren't what we wish they were. The water's colder and it's swifter than it normally is. These fish need to find cover, shelter. So the trout aren't going to hang out in the heavy current fighting that all the time. They're going to look for a place where the water's less turbulent, where they can rest and where they can maybe find food. And this is critical that you know this. Now, I've looked at a lot of streams, and I'll tell you, even now with flood warnings all over the parts of northern New York, any of the streams in northern New York are going to be higher than they normally would. But the smaller streams probably would be a better bet for you to begin your trout fishing. These smaller streams, they don't have the ability to have some of this raging torrential water. And I've gone to places already that I haven't fished them yet, but I've sort of done a reconnaissance mission trying to find out where would be a good place to start. In a lot of the small streams, even though they're up and running heavy, they still provide spots where you can fish. And I'm serious about this. It's and if again, I've said in other reports, if I was starting out, you can't go wrong going to a place where you can get a bunch of worms, whether you have to buy them or you got a place where you can dig them. And because all fish love angleworms. And this would be my best tip for you if you're new to trout fishing. Trout love worms too. People, fishermen love them, and all species of fish pretty much love them. I know that when steelhead first started coming into the feeder streams down by the Salmon River and Sandy Creek, I remember one of the first shows that I did when I started my TV series was to go down to Sandy Creek with angleworms and night crawlers and fish for them just the same way that I fished for trout as a kid. And we caught steelhead doing that, because almost everything will eat worms. And if you don't have live bait or you don't want to do that, then there's a number of other ways. I thought about when I was a kid and would see a new body of water, and I know that there were fish in there, and try to find them. One of my first choices was to put on a spoon. With a spoon, I could cast a long distance away and cover a lot of water quickly. And that would tell me I thought that if there were trout in there or not. And I can give the same recommendations now by putting on a spoon or a spinner. And if you wonder what a spoon is, for those of you that don't fish, is a little piece of metal that's cut and curved in a concave type of manner, so that when water passes by or passes through water, it's going to make it wiggle. And fish see that bright shiny thing coming through the water, and they're drawn to it. And that's a good way to search out a new body of water. Bass fishermen, a lot of times when they go to a new area, they'll use something that they can cover a lot of water at first, like a spinnerbait, which is basically just a development of the same principle that the spinners and spoons were. It's giving you flash. It's something that you can cast out and just reel in quickly, and therefore you can cover a lot of water. But little spinners or little bitty spoons are a great choice for this time of the year. Hopefully by next week I'll have caught some trout and I can tell you exactly what I've done, but I'm not always the best example of what's going to be the best way to catch these fish. Good fly fishermen will use nymphs. There's something that they're a recreation of a fly pattern in its infant stages when it's rising up from the bottom, and it's a great choice if you know how to use a fly rod. Until next time, folks, I'll leave you with this thought that this is a time now to get out there, enjoy what we have here in this area, which is so much of everything. It really is special. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.